Hello Harry Potter fans, and welcome to how to make an origami golden snitch. For this you will need only two things. One, a hard surface, and two, a piece of paper. You can use any piece of paper you want, construction paper, computer paper, notebook paper, but keep in mind if you use notebook paper, make sure it's straight edge, so don't rip it out of a composition notebook, and if you take it out of a spiral notebook, please perforate off the little crinklies at the end. I'm going to start with a piece of plain computer paper because it's thin and easy to work with. Step 1 is to make your paper into a square. If you already know how to do this, or if your paper is already a perfect square, please click this annotation to move on to step 2. To make your paper into a square, take one corner and fold it down. Make sure this corner meets up together perfectly and that this edge meets the other edge of the paper. This might take a few tries, but you'll eventually get it. Just make sure that everything is lined up more or less perfectly. Now, the next step you can take is to cut off this piece of paper, but in origami I generally tend to discourage the use of scissors, so we will do it the old-fashioned way. Take this edge and fold it over. Try to make it meet this edge of the paper as well as you can, and also line it up over here. Once you've got it lined up, press it down, and then unfold it to make sure you did it all right. If it went out too far or if it went in too close that this got folded over, don't worry, you can just try it again like this. I like to use either my nail or something else very hard to push down the crease here to make sure it's nice and fine. Then fold the paper over and bend it again in the same place. Push down the crease. If your crease doesn't push down too finely, you may have to repeat this process several times to make sure you don't tear your paper in half. Once you've finished, gently remove this piece. If you're left with little bits like this, don't be afraid to just pluck them right off. Try to make your edge as even as you can. Step 2. We're going to make an origami box. If you already know how to make an origami box, please click this annotation to move on to step 3. To make your origami box, you will first need to fold your paper diagonally like this. If you made your own square, this fold will already be there. If not, please do so now, ensuring that your corners meet up very well. When you're done, unfold it and do the same thing again in the other direction. Once again, make sure your corners line up. Then unfold your paper, turn it over, and fold it in half top to bottom. If your edges lined up perfectly all 3 times, this halfway fold should happen right in the middle of the 2 diagonal folds. Now unfold your paper and pop the middle, like this. You will have these creases, which you will then push in, like so. Flatten your paper down, and you will have what we call a water bomb base. It's triangular shaped with these 2 flaps on the side. Next you will take one flap and fold it up to the tip of your paper, like this. Please repeat this process to all 4 sides. When you're finished, you should have something that looks like this, in a diamond shape. Next you will take the sides of these flaps and fold them over to meet the middle crease, like this. Repeat this once again to all 4 sides. When you finish, it will look like this. You have now successfully created an origami box. Step 3. We will be making the wings of your golden snitch. On your origami box, you will have a part that has these flaps and the other side that has a crease. Place your origami box down to ensure that these flaps are facing downward toward you and these are facing upward. Now, take this that you made and unfold it. Refold it down on this part and then just press this down like so. When you're finished, fold that backwards and you have your first wing. Let's do this again to all 4 sides. Unfold it, fold it down, make a crease, and fold it over. Turn your snitch over and do it again. You have now made all of your snitch's wings. Step 4. Now that you've made your snitch, it's time for us to blow it up. At the top, you will see a small hole or opening. If the hole is too small or you can't see it, don't be afraid to take a scissor or a pencil and just poke it bigger, like that. The bigger it is, the easier it is to inflate. Depending on the type of paper you're using will depend on how easy it is to inflate your snitch. If you're using construction paper, it should inflate very easily. If you're using computer or notebook paper, sometimes the creases get stuck. Hold your wings together like this and blow on it. If your creases get stuck like this, don't worry. These can always be flattened back down and done again. I like to fold them over the way they're not supposed to go to ensure that these are nice and open. Don't hold it very tightly so that it can still inflate, but just hold it down enough. Congratulations! You've made an origami snitch!